That's the reality of it. Where you get the truth, where you get the real, where you get to see all the things that's going on all around you. And we tell it like it is.
We gather because we have chosen hope over fear, unity of purpose over conflict and discord. On this day, we come to proclaim an end to the petty grievances and false promises, the recriminations and worn-out dogmas that for far too long have strangled our politics. We remain a young nation, but in the words of Scripture, the time has come to set aside childish things. The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, to carry forward that precious gift, that noble idea passed on from generation to generation, the God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
Thanks for tuning in again. This is part three.
Part three.
Just
couldn't get enough.
With our tour agent, Tom Saunders, who was in the Great Black and Wax Museum, who has a plethora of information that everyone should know. Things I thought I knew, I didn't know. I was cleared up on that. But we're going to continue this journey. Mr. Saunders, we're here in the exhibit where a lot of Baltimoreans made history.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Let's start with this gentleman right here.
Well, this is Clarence Mitchell Jr. Our courthouse in downtown Baltimore is named in his honor.
Wow.
And because he was called the 101st senator. Even though there are only 100 U.S. senators, he was so visible throughout the halls of Congress, they referred to him as senator. And he's responsible for galvanizing enough votes to pass the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which stood from 1965 until a couple of years ago.
So what happened?
Congress reversed that decision. And so no longer, they've taken a lot of the teeth out of the Voting Rights Act. And so we see blacks going backwards again.
It's a shame. And I think it's so bad because when you look at us as a young generation, we're so disconnected from our history. And so yes, we have the Clarence Mitchells and all the other greats who stood up for our rights and our history. But now where are we as young people to be able to pick up the same baton and carry on?
So that's why history is so important. You know, it's an old adage, those that don't know their history are bound to repeat it. That's true. So you must know your history. Okay, in this corner, we have the Reconstruction era. And this was a very prosperous time for African Americans in this country.
So
because we got our first civil rights legislation. You know, those are the years 1865 to 1877. And we have this man to thank. Thaddeus Stevens was the architect of Reconstruction. He pushed through the first civil rights legislation throughout Congress. And then also Charles Sumner was another white man that was an advocate for black rights. And you see the blood coming down the side of his face because a Southern sympathizer was so angry with him, he beat him with his cane upside his head.
So you had the ballot boxes. I mean, did we get the right to vote?
Right. The most important thing that happened were these three amendments were added to the Constitution of the United States, changing our lives forever. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery because, you know, Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was a punishment against the Confederacy. Places like Maryland, Delaware, Missouri, Kansas, slavery was still legal. So we needed this amendment to abolish slavery throughout the United States, except Maryland. The Maryland General Assembly did free us in 1864, 1 year before the federal legislation. And then the 14th Amendment declared that anyone born on American soil was a naturalized citizen. Because not many years before that, we had the Dred Scott decision, which said that blacks should never be considered citizens of the United States. That reversed that Supreme Court decision. And then we have the 15th Amendment, which gave black men the right to vote.
But not black women.
Not black women. No woman could vote, black or white. Black men could vote, and it was safe for black men to vote. Here in Baltimore City, the Union troops occupied Druid Hill Park, Carroll Park, Lafayette Park, and it was safe for black men to vote. You had so many blacks elected in the South on the state and local level till you're around that same number today.
Wow.
All of these men got elected to Congress during that time period.
So what happened? I mean, were they able to stay in for their entire term, or were they pushed out of Congress? I mean, you don't hear much about them.
Right. In the year 1877, Rutherford B. Hayes was running for president of the United States.
A black
and,
man?
No, white man. And in order to become president, he needed the Southern votes. So he cut a deal with the Southern Democrats. And the deal was turn the blacks back over to us. And it was in 1877 that you had the rise of the first Ku Klux Klan. And as a result of the terrorism that took place, and they withdrew the Union troops, no longer were blacks protected, by 1900, there were no more blacks left in office in the South, except here in Baltimore City. Our last one was 1928. And then we had to start all over again.
Who was that in 1928?
It was a member of the city council. I don't recall his name off the bat. But 1928 was the last one. They were all Republicans back then. Okay, here we have Mary Church Terrell. Mary Church Terrell's father was rich. He had amassed over $700,000 in the late 1860s. So he could afford to send her to college. And she's one of the first African-American females to graduate from college in the United States.
Which college was it?
Oberlin, it was Oberlin. And so she was a civil rights activist because she knew Frederick Douglass. And so eventually she hooked up with W.E.B. Du Bois. And she's considered one of the founders of the NAACP.
Okay. And then beside her, you have Mary McLeod Bethune.
Oh, Mary McLeod Bethune was a great educator. And also she had a knack for getting money from rich white people. And so the first rich white man she met was a Rockefeller. And so when she described the school to him, he was so impressed with her that he just had to come see the school. But when he saw her school, he was so disappointed he didn't know what to do. Because he said, Mary, all I see is a one-room shack. She said, but if you could only see what's in my heart and in my mind, you'd think differently. And he was impressed with her, gave her $1 million, which results in the Bethune-Cookman College that we have today. Then she met Eleanor Roosevelt, who was rich, married to her cousin, the president. And around that time, she founded the National Council of Negro Women. And for the first time, black women issues were presented before a president.
All right, let's go back to Ms. Terrell. You said she was one of the co-founders of NAACP, correct? Now, also, wasn't it a Jewish guy that also co-founded?
It was whites and Jews, everybody was. See, initially the Niagara movement was all black. The NAACP was mixed. Okay, here we have Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He's called Mr. Civil Rights. Now, up in Harlem, they had started registering blacks to vote again. This was around 1945. And they registered so many African Americans during that time period until he won the election and went to Congress. And so here in Maryland, you know, we didn't get one until 1971. So everyone had to go see Adam Clayton Powell. That's why we call him Mr. Civil Rights. He stayed in office from 1945 until 1971 when he was beat by Charlie Rangel, who's in office now.
And of course, this great man right beside him
is a native Baltimorean, born at 1632 Division Street in West Baltimore. And so he was a great attorney. And so, you know, he did several cases here in the state of Maryland trying to integrate schools. You know, Baltimore County was the only county in the state of Maryland that didn't have a school for the blacks.
Really?
People that lived in East Towson or Arbutus had to come into Baltimore City to go to Douglas and use a Baltimore address. But eventually, he argued Brown versus the Board of Education and desegregated the schools.
Thank you, Thurgood Marshall.
Now, was he of a mixed race?
No, I mean, of course, he's mixed, but not considered that. You know, his parents were light skinned.
Okay.
You know, which means you're mixed. But it wasn't like he was a mulatto or nothing like that. George Washington Carver was a genius. Now, George Washington Carver, you know, he's the one that started crop rotation. You know, in Alabama, they used to grow cotton in the same field every year and deplete the soil. He showed them how sweet potatoes replenish a cotton field.
Peanuts too, right?
No, peanuts, he later grew peanuts. He came up with over 300 inventions for peanuts, like he made soap and different products out of peanut and soybeans, and also ethanol. You know, because when Henry Ford made the Model T, he said, well, why would you make a car run off of fossil fuel? Because he predicted you'll have an oil shortage. Wow. And you know how many years it would take for fossils to become a liquid like oil? Millions of years. So he showed them how you could run the car off of ethanol. made from corn and things like that.
Can you imagine that?
And
That's
Henry
way
Ford,
back then.
Way back then.
and Henry Ford offered him a 6-figure salary, which he didn't take, and also Diesel tried to hire him. But he dedicated his life to Tuskegee and the surrounding community. And the school that he worked at was Tuskegee Institute, started by this man. Booker T. Washington was the most influential black man of his time. And his autobiography was called Up From Slavery.
Even more so than Frederick Douglass?
Oh, he was, I mean, of his time. Frederick Douglass was great in his time.
You can look eye to eye at anyone when you're wearing the exquisite couture frames from Eye to Eye. Their beautiful exclusive eyewear is imported from all over the world, including London, Tokyo, Milan, and Paris. You will not see these frames anywhere else. The specialists at Eye to Eye have the finest frames, great personalized service, and they do all the customizing in their in-house lab. So call or come in and get the most fashionable and unique eyewear only at Eye to Eye.
Marzi is a company founded in Italy. That style and flair that the Italians bring to everything they do. We can produce bikes that have character, we can produce bikes that are made by hand, and we can produce a riding experience that is second to none. These bikes are a blend of new and old. The experience we want people to have on the bike is a modern experience. The modern Marzi brand is about innovation. It's about looking forward, not backwards. It's about creating a unique experience and a unique connection between the rider and the bike.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Maisha. I am Maisha and today I have the honor of sitting beside attorney Natasha Dartigue.
Hi, Maisha.
Hi, Natasha. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are?
I am currently the Deputy District Public Defender for Baltimore City, and essentially currently my role mainly administration and staff development. But my career started as a line attorney in Baltimore City, and I've worked in all the divisions, juvenile, district, misdemeanor, and felony.
So when we say public defender, for people who may not know what that is, can you tell us what you do and who your clientele is and where you find your client base from?
Public defenders are essentially lawyers. We all go to the same law school, have to pass the same bar exams to be able to practice in the state. But public defenders are a special kind of lawyer. Public defenders are attorneys who have decided that they have a passion for working public interest, and they want to represent those who are indigent. So our clients are basically those who cannot afford to pay for the lawyers themselves. So if you're arrested and you're released, you basically would go to the commissioner's office and apply for our services. If you're incarcerated, you can just make the request within the institution.
Wow, do you ever get any specific requests for you?
I do get letters sometimes, or family members who call and say their loved ones have been incarcerated, can you represent them? And unfortunately, unless it's rare that I pick up a case. It happens when I've represented the person before, but unfortunately you can't pick and choose who your public defender will be.
If I were in that position and I could not afford legal, I would want someone who had a compassion for the community or a heart for, very passionate about what they were doing and the population. I wouldn't want to have someone that has a reputation of not liking a particular community that they're serving. So I can imagine how people just pray that they get someone who will work, really work within their best interests,
Well, we're really selective in terms of the young lawyers or new lawyers that come into the office because it's special work and you have to have that passion. You have to have that desire. You have to believe in what you're doing.
So they're vetted in a way.
Absolutely. People have to have a special interest in public interest and working with the community. We look for people who have worked in the community before, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a criminal defense, but you may have been an advocate for animal rights, but somebody who believes in a cause and they're willing to really kind of be out there as a warrior, because that's what we are. We're warriors in the criminal courts.
Absolutely. I love that. And see, that's information that's new to me. So if you had to leave one tip for the youth in the communities, what would that be?
Wow. So as a mentor, I feel like there's so much that I enjoy sharing, but the biggest thing it would be to stay in school, and if you can find a mentor, that one person that you can trust and guide you, I would tell you to find that person and stick with that person. And like myself, I know there are many out there who are really looking to connect in the community. I would really encourage students to kind of find that person, teacher, like yourself, somebody who's working in the community. There are a lot of opportunities out there.
And if someone were interested in law school, what would you suggest to prepare them for going down that path?
I would say that grades are important, and when you're an undergraduate, you don't have to study. Some people think you have to study English or political science. Major in something that you love, because that's the subject in which you're going to do well in. And when you have good grades and then you apply, you'll be able to sell yourself. Because essentially law school will teach you the basics of what you need to know. So you don't necessarily need to be English or political science.
Wow, thank you so much for this great information. We'll be back. Thank you for tuning in with Let's Talk with Maisha.
For all your pharmacy needs and prescriptions, call Pharmacy Solutions, LLC, the community pharmacy the mayor honored for its commitment in providing the community with affordable prescriptions. Pharmacy Solutions takes your health very personally with patient consultation and a patient assistance program for the uninsured and those with specialty drug needs. To learn more about the program and how to transfer your prescriptions to Pharmacy Solutions, LLC, call them today because they breathe life back into our community.
Welcome to the segment with Dr. Willie Richardson. It's your health and wealth. As a matter of fact, today I have with me Ms. Joyce Green, and we continue her story from last week, and also my friend, Mr. William Allen.
Yeah, they brought me back. I felt kind of lonesome, but he brought me back.
William was so curious about some of the things that Joyce had shared. And what were some of the questions you were asking her?
We've heard the journey, okay? From you being from, some of the journey.
Part of it.
We can't be a year to hear it, but it was part of the journey. So you were like almost invalid at one time. That's what it sounded like, because you went through all kinds of health issues. Mm-hmm. Now, name the health issues that you've had, and then what's gone from those health issues.
Okay, what's resolved already?
What's resolved already.
Okay. Well, everything has been resolved. So, anything I say
As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to name a few of them. I'm going to just name you say resolved or not.
Well,
but I know you had sciatica.
Yep, I had sciatica.
Is that resolved?
I have vertigo. Yes.
Vertigo resolved.
Yes. I've had herniated disc.
Herniated disc.
No operation. I had
no surgery.
Crushing disc. I had nerve ending damage. I had my shoulder sewed back on totally because it ripped all the way off.
It came off. You had surgery for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it ripped off. I fell in the driveway,
It
and
fell.
it ripped all the way off. Okay, yeah. I had asthma brought on by allergies. Mm-hmm. I had
you had a hernia.
Yes, I had a hernia, and I had the operation because the whole intestines and everything had went up in there. And
yes.
Dr. Henry from
you had a heart problem too, right?
Well, it was really back problems because when
but the
I
doctor
was learning,
yes,
heart problem. They said I had. I would have been on blood thinner if I had not been blessed to get away from it.
They put people on blood thinners when they have arrhythmia.
Yeah.
So that you don't get a clot that goes to the brain or goes to the
and
heart.
And it's not even that. Yeah. So
because right now I'm on an aspirin a day regimen.
Mm-hmm. Well, you better jump on the healthy side real quick.
Hey, believe me, I'm ready to jump on it like now.
Because all of that, none of that is. Your body was built to repair itself. If God gave one little egg and made your whole body split up into all these little fingers and stuff, you think He would have left out the repair kit?
I understand it. That makes plenty of sense.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, now that you've been taking the 90 for life
Mm-hmm.
and the different aspects of what comes with it, depending on your health issues, you're in excellent shape now, right?
That's right.
Like you say, you feel like you're 26.
Or maybe 16 right
16.
now. But anyway.
That's even better. You're 16. So where do you go at this point now that your body's in operating order?
Where I'm going is, I'm going to tell the world, and I'm going to keep my body in operating order so I can be an example for the world, because if people have to see, like my daughter said, that's why we wind up losing weight.
They believe.
They have to see you, and I've been around long enough to make my family slowly come around and start taking the minerals and vitamins.
Wow.
They have to be a model for them, the people that believe. Just
Let me just share one thing so that people don't get a misunderstanding. Now, vitamins, minerals, and so forth are not intended to diagnose, treat, or prevent anything. That's not what it does. what it does, it supports the body's ability to correct itself. And that's what Dr. Waller will tell you, won't he?
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. And that's what it does. It does. So
Okay.
So you started how many years ago with the Dr. Waller program?
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. So in 3 or 4 years, you came from not being able to walk,
That's right.
not being able to put on high heels,
That's right.
not being able to dance,
Overweight.
not overweight, all kinds of
Heart
body issues,
Yes,
bone
yes,
issues,
that's correct.
high
Wow.
blood pressure, diabetes.
Heart
In
problems.
3 or 4 years, you have no more of those problems.
I haven't even taken any medicine in 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
I haven't had to have any medicine. I haven't had to have pain medicine or nothing.
Did the doctor suggest that you should be taking it?
Oh, when I saw the heart doctor about 4 years ago, he said, "Oh, you need some Prevacid." I said, "Dr. Henry, I take fluorides and enzymes." And you know what that heart doctor said? He said, "Take them then." And he said, "Give me some of your cards to put in my office."
He wants to take some now, right?
But what I'm saying is, I should have been back down there by now. But anyway, I never been back.
As a
Okay.
matter of fact, I remember we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that there is one doctor that came on board with us.
Yes, in
We don't have to
Texas.
say who that is, but
Yeah.
anyway, he came on board, and they're going to
And he's
really
excited.
get on the program. How old is that person?
He's 68.
As a matter of fact, you know what? We're going to talk about that next week, and with that said, we'll be right back.
They say a picture or painting is worth 1,000 words, and to make those words stand out, you need the perfect frame. That's when you call the professionals at Framing Place. The framers at Framing Place are perfectionists, and they will highlight the beauty of your painting or pictures to give it that perfect look. They will also complement your home decor. The highly trained professionals at Framing Place take meticulous care in every step of creating that perfect frame. For more information, go to framing.com.
It's Kanika Talk Lounge in 5, Baltimore, the city of murals. So many wonderful things to see. And so this week there's actually something special going on in the North Avenue corridor in Baltimore City. There's like special murals that are put up all over this area, and so they're only going to be on view for a limited time. This particular episode, we're going to show you a couple of pictures of different murals that I've come across walking here in Baltimore City. Enjoy. So I'm trying to guess the meaning of this particular mural on Maryland Avenue. You have one guy in a gyroscope, which is pushing him in multiple different directions, while outside the gyroscope is another man who's pushing the actual gyroscope forward. You also have these different persons who are moving from bigger to smaller as they're walking up the stairs into an opening of a window, it looks like, on a man's chest. So many different meanings of a mural. And who would ever think that graffiti can be a mural? I call this Graffiti Row. And as you can see behind me, all of the walls, as far as you can see, is filled with nothing more than graffiti. Take a look.
Hi, my name's David Muse. I'm a photographer here in Baltimore, and we're in Station North Arts District in Baltimore right now. I'm photographing images from the new Open Walls Baltimore 2 street art project. To my left is a piece that the Spanish artist Esif is finishing up. It's a giant smiley face, as you can see. You'll also see a image that Gaia, the artist Gaia, has done. It's, I guess I would say, Open Boundaries is the title of it. He has Bierstadt's image from the West. Mercury's there too, so it's in a tiger, gigantic tiger. As I say, then it's just Open Boundaries. You'll find more information about Open Walls Baltimore 2. This is the second street art project in Station North. during the last 2 years, go to stationnorth.org. And I believe you can also go to Facebook and find more information about Open Balls Baltimore too. Thank you. Enjoy your time here in Station North.
Okay, so we just left Station North and we're about to go out to some other communities that have some really awesome murals. So, buckle up, let's go. Favorites. Do you recognize some of the faces on this particular mural? From Harry S. Cummings to the well-known Thurgood Marshall, who our BWI airport is named after. Clarence Mitchell Jr., another well-known figure here in Baltimore. So you can check this out actually off of Drew Hood Avenue, and it is the mural for the Upton area. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed the display of artwork. What's in a mural, right? I mean, there's so many different murals that are throughout Baltimore. Maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the story the artist tells. There's always some special secret behind the mural. So hopefully as you're driving around Baltimore, you can take the time to look at these displays of artwork. Talk Lounge at 5, my name is Kanika. Until next week, keep it talking.
So I switched my car insurance to State Farm. I saved $480. You know what that is?
Yeah, don't say it.
You know what it is, right?
Yeah, don't.
It's a lot of dough.
Switch and you could save $480 with State Farm.
It's a lot of dough.
See if Bryant Jenkins in Reisterstown can save you a lot of dough.
Get to a better state. State Farm.
Would you like to make $300 to over $3,000 a week on your own time? Then call Odyssey Production and join their marketing team by selling TV advertisements. And you can get paid each day. For more information, go to the employment section on our website or call 443-394-7333.
Fantastic show, fantastic segment. You are awesome, young lady.
Awesome recognizes awesome, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, if God gives you another day, that's another opportunity to do the right thing. Don't blow that opportunity.
Be blessed.
Put God first, because through Him, all things are possible. See you next week.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last,